Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another tournament report. This last weekend I went to the Swedish Championships, which is in Uppsala. It's hosted at their tournament Quest for Atlantis. It was quite a while ago that they had the championship in their location, but they did it well. It was a really well-run tournament, and I had a good time. Despite the games not going that well, as we will see here. So I'm gonna go through all of my 5 games fairly quick, talk a little bit about the mistakes I made and what I could learn, and finish with some thoughts on my list, what I would change and things like that. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and we'll get right to it. So on the screen now I have my the first game, the first picture from the first game. So I will go through my army. From left to right we have the giant. He's got a giant club. We have my 9 boar riders with full command and banner of speed, and shields and light lances. They are feral orcs, so they do a bit of a damage on the charge. They are common, the core unit though, not air bashers, so they don't strike that hard. They are joined by my general, an Iron Orc Warlord on Boar. He's got paired weapons with Shady Shankins and Tuktek's guard on his plate armor. He also has the Troll Ale Flask and a Talisman of shielding. So he's got a good armor save 1 up against shooting, 2 up in close combat, resilience 6, immune to lethal strikes, 5 up aegis save, and so fairly tanky and quite a lot of attacks. We have my wizard, a wizard master witch doctor on wolf. He's got the Destiny's Call, so a 4 up save, and the medical heirloom, so he's got 5 spells. Although in this first game I completely forgot about the heirloom, so I played with the 4 spells. We have 6 cave trolls, and a unit of 20 cave goblins with nets and a musician. 22 iron orcs with full command and banner of speed. We have 44 orcs, normal orcs, with full command and Rending banner, hammer open shield. They also have the battle standard bearer in them, an iron orc with a great weapon, a shield with Willow's ward. He's got Alchemist alloy on his armor, and he's got the lucky charm and the banner of the Relentless company. So he's got a 1 up armor save if he uses his shield, 3 up otherwise, and he can swing with this great weapon if he wants to. We have 5 raiders, goblin raiders on wolves. They have shields and light lances. We have Madat, my little mascot. He's a goblin king on a Huntsman spider. He's got a lance, a shield, and the Basalt infusion on his heavy armor. So he's got a 1 up armor save and 3 up aegis against flaming. He's got Dusk forged on his shield, so he can reroll his armor save. And he's got the not medical heirloom, the crown of the Wizard King. So he's an apprentice in a random path. In this game he rolled shamanism, which is a great path to roll up. He also has the Rod of Battle for an extra little bounce spell to give him +1 to hit on a unit. And finally up here we have 6 grotlings who have vanguarded up here, scouted and vanguarded. My opponent's list. This first game was against one of the Norwegian invaders. A group of them came to the championships, and spoilers, they kicked our butts. Both the first place and the second place of the Swedish Championship went to Norwegians. So that's a great shame. But he played well, my opponent included. So his list, he's got 15 Necropolis cards with paired weapons, 5 Great Vultures, 6 Legion Chariots, 4 Vultures, a big unit of Necropolis cards, another 2 more 15 units, more Vultures, another unit of 5, the Skeleton Bunker with a I think it was 3 Wizards, 1 Apprentice on the Arc of Ages, a Master of Divination, and an Adept in Cosmology. The Apprentice on the Arc of Ages had Evocation. He also has his General in here, what's it called? One of the smaller fighty characters. And he had the Crown of the Pharaohs. He could push out his Undying Will onto another unit. And he had an 18-inch March Bubble, I think, too. And finally, another unit of 6 Chariots with Legion Chariots, so they hit quite well. Yeah, we did a little bit back and forth. This scenario was hold the middle and standard deployment. Frontline clash, it's called. We did a little bit of back and forth, and then I dropped everything to go first. So, wrong way. My first turn. I moved up quite aggressively, as you can see. Held back a little bit with the general and his unit. The BSB jumped over to the Orcs, so they get bodyguard. This is the center of the table. Yeah, that's about it. Magic didn't do anything, I think. So his first turn, and a blurry picture. He's moved up the Vultures to look at my Grotlings, and the Vultures here to redirect my Trolls and Frenzy bait my Feral Orcs here. This is his marker for Undying Will, and he got some spell off on the Necropolis guards in the center. My turn. I failed the Frenzy check and obliterated the Vultures. I got some spell through. I got Twisted Effigy boosted on this unit, so he's -2 to cast with all of his magic. Sounds good to me. And I got put the attribute on the Trolls here. I also realized that in his magic phase, no, wrong direction again. In his magic phase, he obliterated the wolves here with 1 spell, and then did something else, I think. That was what he did. So in this turn where I charged with the Feral Orcs, I also realized that he had nothing on Madat. His 1-up rerollable armor save meant that only the the Necropolis guard had any chances at taking me out by rolling lethal strikes. That was the only thing he had which could damage him. So I moved up quite aggressively with him. Didn't have movement far enough to get in his way, but whatever, I thought at least. So his turn. He charges both the chariot units into, you can see, the Feral Orcs and the Orc unit, and places another Vulture unit here in the center to redirect me. Not good. He charges the Vultures into the Grotlings also, and moves up a little bit to counter Madat. Uh, then the unthinkable happens. So as I said, I got Twisted Effigy on his Wizard Bunker. He had -2 to cast. Despite that, he managed to get 3 spells, buff spells, through on this Chariot unit. Maybe I was a bit greedy trying to dispel, but I don't think so. He just rolled really, really high, so I couldn't. It was just wasteful to dispel the first 2. Tried to dispel the last and failed. Yeah, it was horrible. So this is the result of that combat phase. The Orcs had a 7 Discipline 7 Steadfast with reroll, but they failed. Really stupid of me to put them in that position. This is a problem I had with the army. It was too freaking big. I couldn't fit everything into every bubble. I learned to handle this a bit better in the later games. And the chariots here obliterated my unit, and he cost 2 health points to my general. One of those was a horse who bit him. Really annoying. All thanks to his many spells. He had rerolls to wound. He had an extra strength, and he had no die enemy. So that was horrible. Though he did miscast 3 dice, 3 6s. You can see he had -1 to miscast in his turn, so he rolled 3 6s, casting Spectral Blades, and that was turned into a 4/4, so he forgot that spell after that. But yeah, not good at all. I forgot to take a few pictures here. So in my turn, the giant charged into his Necropolis guards here, and Mad Hat into this unit up here. The trolls or the Arnoks handled the chaff, and we continued to fight up here with our Grotlings and Vultures for pretty much the rest of the game. So in my turn, I moved the Wizard up somewhere here. The giant absolutely fluffed his attacks with 5 attacks and a d6 stomps. He caused a staggering 2 wounds to the Necropolis guards. They in return caused 5 wounds to him. That's not what I had planned to happen. He failed his break test because they were still they broke his ranks. Had I killed a little bit more, he wouldn't have ranks. And I was run down. A bit fortunately, he failed his restraint test, so he couldn't reform and charge my wizard, who was standing here. But instead, he charged my general down here. You can see that there's my wizard. He also charged the chariots in. My general had rallied. My turn, I also cast. This was really fun, actually, clever bit at least. I cast Willow Wisp on my own trolls, so they could charge in 360 degrees. I think he had to charge. He didn't catch my orcs, so he had to charge them off the table in his turn or something like that. I don't recall why he's standing like that. Whatever. Oh no, this is after charges. That's right. So you can see Mad Hat is doing pretty well, really well against the Necropolis guards up here. We move on to his magic phase, and again he got 3 buff spells onto his fighting unit. This time I am sure that I wasn't greedy. I had you can see the card here. I had 5 dice. He's the best Magiface as long as he should get a lot of spells. And I saved everything to dispel his last spell. He had 3 dice, and I had 5, and I couldn't dispel. So he got three spells through. And yeah, this is after movement, so he's turned the chariot unit around and moved up the Necropolis guard here. And since Mad Hat started to threaten his bunker, he abandoned ship. Yeah, in the combat he annihilated the Orcs. I think, yeah, I had 22. I think he killed 19. So I stood on Steadfast, at least, on Starboard Bodyguard, and he killed my general here, which meant that the trolls failed their stupidity and couldn't charge despite being random movement. And yeah, not good. So this is a bit later. Mad Hat killed the Necropolis guard up here and charged down here. My Cave Goblins had charged the chariot unit. Last combat broke on Steadfast Discipline 5 and fled, and then they were charged and crossing across the table and then ended up here. I used Raven's Wing to move my trolls up here. And yeah, that's about it. The general did some wounds on the chariots at least. In his first turn he did like 2 wounds or something, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. Wonderful dice. A little bit later again, he charged the Necropolis guard into Mad Hat. This combat ended with me finishing off this unit. The trolls passed a Discipline 4 stupidity check and charged the chariots, killing them. And then they reformed past another Discipline 4 for stupidity check and charged the Necropolis guard unit here, killing them. But I think he managed to catch them anyway, or maybe they got away. He got the scenario, and he obliterated everything I had, maybe with the exception of the trolls. But he had killed a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, he killed everything, and I got 2,190 points. So it meant 1 point for me, 19 for him. Not a great start. Time for the second game. Secure target and marching columns. So, my army again, the Giant, Grotlings, Goblins, Cave Goblin, Wizard, Iron Orcs, Boar Riders with the General, Orcs with the BSB, and Mad Hat, Warfighters. His army, Sylvan Elves. He had some some light cavalry over here. Yeah, I can't remember what they called. Some dryads, some archers, Sylvan archers, a Tree Father, 5 wild huntsmen, some sentinels, with a wizard master on on shamanism. More Sylvan archers, skirmishing dryads with a matriarch with druidism. 5 Sisters of the Thorn, no champion, but a prince, Sylvan Lord dude on a horse with the Wild Huntsman upgrade. and sort of might, titanic might on his weapon, so a lot of strength, high attacks, and another Tree Father. So it was marching columns, so we dropped a little bit. I dropped the giant and the goblins and the trolls, I think. Yeah. And he dropped those 3 units. And then he dropped everything to go first. So in his he vanguarded up the Kestrel Knights here. Forgot to mention them. Close combat Kestrel Knights. And then flew up into the woods. My Grotlings took a hold of this wood. We can see the Kestrel Knights versus Madat. I was perplexed by this move, because fairly sure that Madat just kills these guys, and they did. The rest of his movements, he moves up a little bit, nothing too interesting. He focuses shooting on my Boar Riders. My turn. Madat has charged in here. This is the end of my turn. The Orcs moved up. And here I moved back. Wanted to stay away from his charge range with the Wild Huntsmen. The Iron Orcs were out of sight. With magic, I focused a lot on dispelling the totemic summon. I didn't want any of that. Yeah. He charged into the Orcs with. He failed the frenzy test with his general, and the Tree Father decided to join in. Yeah, that's. In the combat, I think I did 1 wound to each, and he killed a bunch. Yes, he moved up the sisters here, Briar Maidens, and the Blade Dancers here, as you can see. The pictures get a bit weird here. We could move back. So the sisters moved from there down to here, and the Wild Huntsman moved up here somewhere. Yeah. So that's what this looks like. In my turn, I charged the Grotlings into the Wild Huntsman, and I cast the wheel turns on them. I was really happy with that. They had 10 attacks, hitting on 3s with 5 of them, and 4s with 5 of them, and wounding on 4s with everything. And I had at least 15 attacks. Hitting on 3. I had 16 attacks. I hit on 4s, wound on 4s. And he annihilated my unit. The dice just didn't want to function. Here, I did the biggest mistake of this game. The general here, he charged into the flank of the Tree Father. And in the combat, he racked up so much combat resolution, and my general managed to cause 1 wound to the Tree Father. So the general broke from combat. These guys held, being steadfast. So the general ran somewhere here, and the Briar Maidens chased them down. I had also charged the Iron Orcs and the Trolls into the Blade Dancers here, and they. Let's see if we can get a picture of that. Yeah, here we have them. This is. I had my turn, and this is after his turn. So the Trolls needed an 8, I think, to overrun into the Dryads here. I rolled a 7. and the Iron Orcs needed a 9 to overrun into the Sentinels who stood over here, and they rolled an 8, so both were 1 inch away. He danced around a little bit here. You can see he has killed the in his turn he killed the Grotlings. He healed a wound to this guy using Druidism, and in the following combat I caused 2 wounds. So he was down to 1 health point remaining. The Briar Maidens charged my general and killed him. What I should have done was charge the Briar Maidens, not the Tree Father. In hindsight, big mistake. Yeah, this is the same thing. I charged the giant into the 4 remaining wild huntsmen. The huntsman hit first, the giant at the same time as the horses. The huntsman caused 5 wounds to the giant. The giant caused 4 back, and he saved 3 of those on a 6 up Aegis, and the horses killed the giant. So the giant killed a single wild huntsman. Hooray! This is a while later. So his big mistake for the game was that he charged the wild huntsman into the flank of the trolls and the dryads into the front, and the trolls just killed everything. They were great. The Iron Orcs charged down a unit of archers here. Madat charged the skirmishing dryads with the matriarch and killed them. And he had 1 health point left on this guy. My only chance of taking that out was using Raven's Wing on the wizard and doing slashing damage. So I tried that, but never got the chance. He dispelled it. And in my last turn I did another mistake, and I charged Madat here. I could choose either to try and kill the sentinels or the archers. I choose the archers, but they were steadfast. The sentinels would not have been. So I got no points instead of 200 points, something like that. The objective was secure target, and as you can see, he's got this one. So he got that, and it ended a 16-4 to him. So another loss. Yeah, here you can see I charged in with Madat into the archers. So game 3 against the tournament host, the ringer list. He had beast herds and a vanguard spam list. So we had 2 giants, 1 big brother, both with vanguard and the drunken upgrade. 3 small chariots and 1 big chariot, and a wizard on a chariot with the a wizard master on a wizard adept on evocation, I think. Can't recall. And he had the item that gave vanguard to chariots. Some mongrel raiders, some harpies, a unit of centaurs with a Battle bearer who was quite fighty, a unit of wildhorns, and a minotaur warlord with them, really fighty guy, a small unit of minotaurs, and he had ambush with a unit of wildhorns, 15. I decided to put my goblin unit in ambush. It was the Dawn Assault scenario, and breakthrough. Great to play breakthrough against beast herds, but whatever. I decided to put the goblins in ambush because I had so much trouble fitting my army even without them. So yeah, it was best to leave them out. I thought. So he got first turn and moved up. Yeah, we had a lot of vanguards to start with, so this is before vanguards. This is after vanguards. So then it was first turn. The harpist moved down here. He moved up, and yeah, entered the chef wars. The giant charged into the grotlings. And he cast Savage Fury on the dogs here. Both my units passed their frenzy test, fortunately. And I put the dogs in front of the orcs this time to stop them from taking more tests. The wizard moved up here using Raven's Wing, and it caused a wound on the chariot, and he failed the save. Yeah, that's about it. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a fairly big jump here. He moved up with these two units in his turn fairly aggressively. The Warlord was placed here somewhere. Yeah, that's about all he did in his turn. I charged the general out of this unit into the mongrel raiders and overran into the centaurs. The giant charged the miniature warlord, and the wolf fighters redirected the wildhorn unit. So this is after the overrun with the warlord, my warlord. The giant killed the grotlings, but I caused 3 health point losses on him. The giant, we did some maths on how it would go against the warlord, and the giant struck first with 5 attacks, and he caused 1 wound, which was about what you'd expect. And the warlord had 7 attacks, no, 5 attacks, something like that, with battle focus and wounding on 2+, I think 5 attacks. If he got lucky, he could kill the giant in a single turn, but only if he got lucky. So realistically, the giant would get a swing in the second turn with a lot more attacks. That didn't happen though, because I had to take a break test on Discipline 9 and rolled double 6. So the giant fled, and the warlord overran and charged into the orcs down here. He also charged the harpies into the flank of the trolls, together with the big chariot, one of the smaller chariots, and the small giant. The small giant had taken some wounds. Let's see. No, I think the grotlings caused 2 wounds onto the giant, but I also cast Bewitching Glare on him and caused another wound with the shooting from the orcs, who had battle focus on the attacks then. But the important part was that the trolls managed to kill the giant. Much thanks to Bewitching Glare. So that was nice. The trolls rolled awesomely for their Fortitude tests, and I think they won the combat. Or at least they didn't flee. The Iron Orcs here have charged up one of the smaller chariots. I forced the wizard to flee. Yeah, he has his ambushers on, so do I. Yeah, the Warlord got into this unit, and I think he ate a champion in the first turn. Sounds about right. So that was in his turn that I killed the champion. Yeah. So here the harpies have been killed. These guys have been forced to flee, and I think he elected to stay. Let me run. Our Orcs turned around to face the giant. These guys turned around to face the Warlord. They charged and killed him, reformed. The Warlord, my Minotaur Warlord charged at trolls and killed them. The giant, the Wild Horns, and a chariot charged the Orcs and killed all of them. The BSB has abandoned ship and joined the Orcs. And he killed my BSB, I think, with the Warlord, and I killed his unit of centaurs that he charged in. That's about it that happened. Yeah. He got the objective, secured no breakthrough with no problems at all, and he killed a lot of things, and I didn't. So it was another 1 point for me. So after the first 3 games, first day, I had a total of 6 points. Hooray for me. But things were about to turn around. So the 4th game, Refused Flanks and Spoils of War, which I must say is a great combination of scenario and deployment type. Really wonderful. I was up against Highborn Elves. The guy was a little bit late, so deployment was handled by the TOs. But they did a good job. 3 ball throwers, 2 eagles, some archers with a Queen's Companion BSB, so they had quick to fire. Big unit of Swordmasters with Navigator Standard, and big unit of Spearmen with Flaming Standard. Some Elaine Reavers, and a young dragon with a Order to Fireheart wizard on top. He picked Alchemy for this battle. So, by this game, I should say that these games were games 1 to 5 that I played with this army list. By this game, I had started to figure out how I should play this army, and the problem was that I had too many units, so now I put 1 unit behind my lines to keep them out of the way, and that was a good call. A difficulty in this matchup is that I don't have anything really that can handle the Swordmasters, I feel. Maybe if I thin them out a little bit with bows, the Iron Orcs can take them. But depending on the spells he gets through, it's a very, very dangerous situation. So I was fairly scared. In his movement phase, he moved up the Reavers to shoot at the Grotlings, and the Swordmasters to take this objective. Moved up fairly aggressively overall. Yeah. And that's about it. He didn't get. I think he killed a troll here. He had the Quicksilver Lash, which was great against the trolls, and he focused a lot of shooting on them. In my turn, the Orcs charged the Eagle here, the Firelords, and he decided to flee. I think it was an 10 or 11 on dice, and he didn't want to take that chance, so he fled. I tried to redirect into the dragon. That was a long charge, but still better than just failing the charge. This was my discipline test for the redirect. Yeah, not great. So they stumbled forward a little bit. I had put Madat, the wizard, and the warlord into this unit, by the way. I moved forward a little bit. I moved the Goblins a little bit, and I used my thrown weapons to kill one of the Reavers. As you can see there. The magic phase was quite successful. I got Willow Wisp off on his dragon. So he had random movement 2d6 and Raven's Wing on the Orcs. There you can see Willow the Wisp. The Elaine Reavers charged the Grotlings, which proved to be a big mistake. He just died. He caused a few wounds and I just annihilated him. Quite lucky, but it can happen. He moved on to the objective with the Swordmasters. Still, this was something that I counted on actually, that he was pretty much out of the game for a while with the Swordmasters, because he had to go take that objective. But I couldn't really capitalize on it because the dragon was a bit threatening, and even the spearmen were quite dangerous. He had forgot about that. He had a character with a sliver of the Blazing Dawn spear in the spearmen, so that was quite a fighty unit. In my turn, I moved up to the hill with the war boys. These guys moved on to the objective, and I moved forward a little bit. I got Madat moved over to the trolls, and he cast Awaken the Beast. He got Shamanism again. Awaken the Beast on the trolls to boost their resilience. He had managed to cast Corruption of Tin on my Iron Orcs. That was bad. I tried to dispel it, but didn't manage that. I'm keeping the giant and the wolf fighters here behind the tower, keep them safe as chaff when I need them. Yep. And yeah, here you can see I got Willow Wisp on the dragon again, which was really great. Kept him out of the game fairly well. So the dragon moved back forward further, and he moved up the Swordmasters. Yes, let's see. I charged the Orcs down the hill into the bolt thrower. The trolls moved up like so, with a Raven's Wing, I think. And I backed away a little bit here. He failed the charge with the Swordmasters into the Iron Orcs. He needed an 11, I think. Something like that. Yep. Here he has moved a little bit forward with the Swordmasters after a failed charge. The eagle put in a noble sacrifice to chaff up my feral orc riders. The dragon, finally free from chasing whatever, moved up here. This was, I think, one of the big mistakes he made in the game. He had the chance here to move behind my lines, and that could have been a big issue for me. Although he would have been in a tougher spot to really boost his own army with buffs, but yeah, I think that was a mistake by him. Yep. I moved up the giant to shaft the Swordmasters. The Grotlings charged the bolt thrower. These guys killed the eagle. shuffled around a little bit, moved Madat into the Iron Orcs. He charged the Swordmasters and the Dragon into the Giant. Got a lot of spells, killed him without him getting to swing. These guys reformed and started to move away from the Feral Orcs. Yeah. But I still managed to charge. I think I used the War Cry in this turn. I redirected the Swordmasters and moved the Iron Orcs up on top of the last objective. This was nearing the end of the game. He would have a final turn after this, and then my final turn. I won this combat, eventually killed this one, didn't get that one. He charged in with the swords, with the spearmen. I held, thanks to Stubborn. Madat did really well against the Sliver of the Blazing Dawn, because he had flaming attacks. I was flammable though, but 3 up ages is good. The Dragon charged into the Boar Boys, but I rolled really well on my 6 up ages, so won combat by quite a lot, and chased the archers down, didn't get the Dragon. And in my final turn the Dragon ran away a bit more. The Goblins and the Trolls charged into this combat, and I won big. So I got his general and a lot of points and the objective. It ended in a 19-1 to me. So all of a sudden I was doing alright. Not good, but alright. Yeah. Time for the final game. This was against Vampire Covenant, piloted by the same guy that I played in the first game of Games of Westridge, the last tournament I went to. He used Vermin Swarm then. He had Bat Swarms, some Wolves, some Zombies, a big unit of Ghouls, 2 unit of 5 Spectral Hunters, more Wolves, 2 unit of 6 Vampire Knights, I think, 5 or 6, 5 probably, with a vampire count in each of them. One had the red true thirst blade. One had crimson rage. So one, yeah, they fight a lot, basically. I'll start by saying that this game was characterized by me making a lot of mistakes, but the dice always forgiving me for them, basically. So, deployment was in circle, and the objective was King of the Hill, and he chose this hill, and I chose that hill. I deployed to go first, straight away. And this is how I move it up. He pushed himself into the corner because he was scared of Madat, who got Alchemy and had Quicksilver Lash, which was a great spell against Vampire Knight with 1-up armor save. Cue the first mistake I made. The Goblins moved up here to be behind the fence. Sounds good, except they were just within shot range, 20 inches of the Spectral Hunters, and they caused terror. So he charged, I fled from terror and ran off the board. Me. But whatever. I moved up a little bit elsewhere. In his turn, he charged the Spectral Hunters into the Trolls, redirected from the fleeing cave goblins. and he moved the wolves up to chaff the giant, and moved the vampire knights up like so. He got a 5-up Aegis through on the vampire knights using occultism, Hand of Glory, and shuffled around a little bit. The trolls cost 2 wound, dead average. They did a few back, 2 I think. Nothing spectacular. To my second, third, and fourth mistake. So his mistake on this flank was not was fearing the giant. Basically, there was no point in chaffing him. So I figured, I'll use his chaff against him, and place the giant like so. Neither of the units could charge him. Not even the characters could charge out alone to get into the giant. Great. Except the trolls now killed the Spectral Hunters and reformed a little bit, and were just within charge range, 21 inches of the wolves, so he could charge those first and then charge this unit into the giant. Also made the mistake of placing the orcs within charge range of these vampire knights. That was unnecessary, could have backed away. And the final mistake, placing the wizard out here on his own. I got the +1 move off on the Boar boys. Madat killed the wolves over here, and shooting let me kill 2 of the Spectral Hunters. Yeah. So, in his turn, these were the charges. The wolves into the trolls, vampire knights into the orcs, vampire knights into the giant. He charged the zombies into Madat, I held. He charged the Spectral Hunters into Madat, I choose to flee. He charged the bats into the wizard, needing a 10 on the dice, and I choose to flee. This is after charge rolls, so these vampire knights made it in. These failed to get into the giant, which was hilarious, and he moved forward a little bit here. He once again got 5-up Aegis through on this unit. My turn charges. The Grotlings into the Bat Swarms, the Boar Riders into the Zombies, the Iron Orcs into the Spectral Hunters, and the Trolls into the Spectral Hunters. All of them made it, which was fortunate. I needed, I used the War Cry, and I needed 8s at the highest, I think, to get in. So it was a fairly good chance to get all of them, but it was lucky. The Wizard continued to run. Madat rallied. Is this the same picture? Looks like it. Yeah, the Iron Orcs and the Trolls killed the Spectral Hunters, and the Trolls overran into the Ghouls. The Boar Riders killed the Zombies and reformed. In his turn, he charges the the Vampire Knights into the Giant. This combat continues. He shafts the Iron Orcs with the Wolves. In my turn, I charge in the Iron Orcs and I charge in the Boar Riders. He kills the Giant. I did nothing in return. He finishes off this unit, or he breaks steadfast, and I flee. He fails to restrain and pursues down here. The ghouls are slowly being killed by the trolls. One interesting thing that happened there was no matter how many ghouls were left, either were full strength or just 8 left, he always did 8 wounds to the trolls, and I saved 7 of them using 4-up. So 3 turns of combat, that was always the result. But the ghouls were killed. The wizard finally managed to rally, so now I had a magic phase again. The wolves start to redirect the vampire knights. I move up to the objective here, and the trolls back away because they are not great against the vampire knights. And time for another big mistake. First, from his part, he chose to go after the Iron Orcs instead of going for the objective. I realized that this vampire count could not charge into my unit because my Warlord would just punk him. So he moved out, and I moved to face him. The big mistake I made was that I left a 10 on dice, maybe no 11 on dice charge here. I could have moved the Iron Orcs up to make it impossible, but I didn't. And I could have used magic to stop him, but I did stupid things and caused Bring the Pain on this unit instead. But fortunately, he rolled a 10 on the charge, so he failed that. So that was the end of it, and it ended in a small victory for him, 11-9 on points, but I got the objective, so 12-8. So yeah, I didn't play well. I had no practice games with the list, and it was quite a silly list, but I had fun. If I were to play something similar again, I mean, the core of this list, I see it is the fighty Warlord guy and the Witchcraft master. And I must say, Witchcraft is not a good lore, but it's so much fun. It's just hilarious. And also Mad At is great. He's my mascot. I always bring him, and 1-up rerollable armor save. Some armies just struggle with that. So he's well worth his points, I feel, and a lot of fun. So he's always going to be there. But I felt that I lacked in magic. I only had a single channel. Would have been good to get the Skull Fetch into the list somehow. But the big problem with the list was really that I had one unit too many. So I think if I were to make a similar list, it would probably drop the trolls, because they need the most babysitting with the general and the BSB, and that's a problem. On the other hand, the trolls have performed amazingly at this tournament. I mean, they saved me in a lot of the games. They were the ones who brought home the bacon. So I don't know. The Iron Orcs felt good. I think I would keep them. They are scoring, which is nice. I don't know. I think it would be the trolls that would go and bring a few war machines instead to get some more shooting. The bows on the big orc unit, it's cheap. It costs 1 point per model. I think I would still use that, especially if I bring some other shooting, because then you can start to really pick some wounds off here and there. With just that as my only shooting, probably not worth it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the list, basically. But I think that's gonna do it. Yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. I might have another little thing coming really soon, this weekend hopefully, but we'll see about that. So take care, see ya.